Hello, my beautiful crafty friends. I am Katya with Lunar Sun Creations. Thank you for joining me today. We are going to create a card today, but I have no idea what we're going to create it out of. So that is where the project picker comes in. I designed this to help me originally, but now you get to also reap the benefits of it, to help me decide what medium to use and what technique to use, because I always had so many ideas that I could not decide on just one, and I would often end up leaving my studio again because I could not decide on a single idea, and so I would get frustrated with myself and then just walk away. So I decided that that was never going to happen again. Basically, it is a compilation of ideas. So I've got 20 different kind of mediums or products, and within those 20 types of supply, there is ideas on how to use each one. If you would like to see a full video on how this works and everything, I do have a video for that on my channel. I will link that down below so you can go check that out. But basically, it is rolling a dice or putting 1 through 20 numbers into a cup and letting fate decide what it is you are going to use. So I've rolled a 3. I am going to be working with stamps. A 3 again. Okay, so I am going to... 3 says to ink up a solid stamp, then mist it with water for a watercolor effect. So that is the type of card that we are going to be creating today, and we'll just try and put a spin on it. I will also put down below the link where you can sign up for my newsletter, and in doing so, be able to download this 50-page project picker with so many ideas. So I'm going to get some supplies and I'll be right back. I am going to start out with this XOXO background stamp from Simon Says Stamp. Anything that has quite a bit of solid area is going to work really well for this technique. I've got a few Catherine Pooler inks in rainbow colors. Any kind of water reactive ink will work great for this. So I will be using Rockin' Red to start. Just open it up and I've already made a mess. It takes talent, I tell you. Oh, it's amazing how much of a mess I've made and I haven't even done anything yet. Okay, so I'm going to go in kind of like a diagonal pattern, just creating a rainbow of color. So Catherine Pooler inks are water reactive, Simon Says Stamp, Distress. There's so many different kinds that react really well with water. And I'm kind of just going on the edge of this one and overlapping just ever so slightly from the last one. I kind of want them to blend together. Oh, I haven't been telling you the colors. That was orange, so Rockin' Red, Orange Twist, Limoncello, Martini. I've got some Fiesta Blue here. And Queen for a Day. Oh, I haven't even used this one yet. I haven't opened it yet. Okay, fabulous. Okay, I'm gonna mist it with some water. Got a big piece of cardstock here. I'm going to lay it down on top of my stamp and press it down. This is just a regular 80-pound weight cardstock, nothing fancy. I'm not using watercolor paper because I didn't add enough water. I didn't think I needed to use watercolor paper, but you could try it with watercolor paper if you like. Oh, it turned out great! Oh, I love it! Okay, fantastic. Okay, so I'm going to make one more background because I want the the colors to be a little closer together so that I can cut this down and still get all the colors in. So I'm going to go in with some little finger daubers and do the same thing, but try and maybe make two full rows of X's and O's with all the colors. Okay, and I'm going to spritz it with water again and take one more print for a background. Amazing. While we let our X's and O's dry, I've got a piece of watercolor paper, and I'm just going to take some little tiny sponge daubers and just make some rainbow stripes. I would like to use this stamp. It's a Impression Obsession Love stamp, but it is just the outline. So I want the inside of it to have all the colors, so I want to do some really thin kind of stripes of rainbow color. It's all about the rainbows today because A, it matches my nails, and that's always fun, and B, it is really, really dreary outside, and I just really feel like I would like some bright sunshine kind of colors right now. So I have a separate sponge dauber for each one, and I haven't added, right now the paper is dry. I'm going to add water to it. I'm going to spritz it with water after I add my color to blend them. Okay, so once you've got your color down, we're just going to mist this whole thing with water just to get the colors to blend a little. Okay, and then we're going to let that dry. Okay, and while that's drying, I'm taking out my Misty, and I'm going to ink up this Woodware heart stamp. I realized the task that my project picker had laid out for me was to ink up a solid stamp and kind of use it like watercolor, and I realized that I think this is my only solid stamp. So that might be something to invest in. I don't really have any solid stamps. Alright, so I'm going to get some more watercolor paper happening here. Okay, so I'm going to kind of do the same thing. I'm just going to take my rainbow colors and I'm not going to go in a stripe pattern though. I'm just going to kind of randomly use my ink daubers. Oh, it's not even exactly solid, is it? We'll see. I don't know how this is going to turn out. I'm going to go in a kind of a patchwork scenario with this one, I think. Kind of just random all over the place. Okay. Now let's spritz some water on that and stamp it and see what we got. Yeah, it is kind of just an outline. I need to invest in some solid stamps. Okay, well, it's alright, that's alright. We'll just spritz this and see if it moves a little bit. And we'll maybe just add some color to the actual image, maybe. Maybe we'll do that. I'm going to stamp it one more time, I think. I want it to be a little bit deeper. Okay, I'm going to stamp it one more time. Well, you know what? It's not a solid stamp, but it's still kind of cool, and I think I like it. So we're just gonna roll with it. Okay, so my rainbow stripe panel is dry and the colors blended beautifully. And now I'm going to stamp my love sentiment, and I think I'm also going to stamp this heart again because I'm not sure if I'm super stoked on the way the watercolor heart worked, so I think I'm going to stamp this in black on here as well as the love. Okay, so we're going to ink up my love stamp with Hero Arts India dye ink, India Black. I'm going to have to do it a couple times because it is watercolor paper. Okay, and while it's still in the same position, I'm going to ink it up with Versamark. And I'm going to use some Brutus Monroe thick embossing powder and see how that goes. Okay, and I'm going to do the exact same thing again because I want this to be really thick. This, the embossing, I want it to be really prominent. Watching embossing powder melt is just such a it's such a wonderful thing. I just love it. Okay, so that is nice and thick now. I'm going to do the exact same thing with the heart, and then I'm going to fussy cut them out. So I just wanted to mention that even though I am using the Brutus Monroe triple thick embossing dip, you can just use regular embossing powder. It doesn't have to be this. It's just, this is just what I happen to have and what I like for, you know, outlines like this, like when there's not a lot of detail. And make sure if you do use this to heat from behind a little bit first, because the granules are so big that they will just kind of blow away if you don't kind of get them attached a little bit first. Okay, perfect. So now I'm going to cut these out. Okay, so I've got a couple note cards here that are 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. One is a opening to the side and one is a top opening. I've got some colored cardstock on there. The colored cardstock is from this pack that I got on Amazon. It is American Greetings. It's 200 note cards with the envelopes. Alright, so it's fairly thin cardstock. I don't even think it says the weight of it. It's fairly thin, but it works for layering, and I got it mostly for the envelopes, really. And then I've taken my panels, my XO panels, and cut those down to about 3 5/8 by 4 7/8. So somewhere around there, just so you can see some of the border around it. And I cut out my pieces. So I've got, this is the watercolor heart, and I like it, but I don't think it has enough punch. So I'm gonna keep that and just use that on another card. I just like this better. It's just much more vibrant and bright and stands out more against the watercolory background. And then there's the love. Okay, and I've got some foam tape on the back of those. So because the embossing is black, I decided that these both needed a little bit of black accent. So I am taking some Distress ink in Black Soot. And I'm just going to take an ink dauber and kind of go around the edge just to give it a little frame of black. And then I'm also going to get this all out of the way for a second. And I'm gonna do just a little bit of splatters. So I'm just gonna put some of my black ink onto my craft mat, spritz it with water, and then take a paintbrush and then just do some little flecks. There we go. Okay, and I'm going to clean off my surface here so I don't get my cards covered in black ink, which is something that I would completely do. Alright, and now we can put our cards together. Okay, and then I'm going to use the heart on this one here. So I'm going to take the foam tape backing off. Okay, and then I've got a sentiment strip, Love is Love, from, I think these ones were Alta New. Oh gosh, I hope that's right. Sorry if I'm wrong. It doesn't actually say on them, but I'm pretty sure they were from Alta New. And I've got that backed up on some foam tape as well. I'm just going to give it also a little tiny bit of black ink around the edges. Now these are the ones that you can actually foil, but I don't have a foil machine yet, so I'm just using it like this. Okay, so there is card one, and then the other one. Okay. And I think with this one I want some shine, so I'm going to add some Nouveau Crystal Glaze onto the love portion of this. Okay, and then I'm going to let that dry and it'll be super nice and shimmer, shimmer, shimmer when it's all done. I'm not sure if I showed you this or not. This was the leftover ink that was on the XOXO background stamp after I did these, and there was still some left. So I smushed it down onto a piece of paper. So I've got another background that I could use for something later on. And then I've got the matching envelopes here, and those are our cards for the day. I love them! I think they turned out so awesome. I'm so happy with them. Excellent. Don't forget to look down in the description box below for the link to get your own copy of the project picker, the 50 pages of ideas and ways to get your brain going in different directions, but focused enough that it's not going in too many at once. Alright, I love you all, and I will see you again very soon. Bye!